Open Your Eyes is brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I am Isani Ketano. Good morning.
And good morning, Isani. How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're halfway
Wednesday.
through the week. Yes, it is Wednesday.
Yes.
And looking outside, it looks like it's going to be a pretty warm day as of yesterday. I think the temperatures went as high as 103 yesterday. Wow. I at least saw when I checked the weather.
For the most part, so.
Yeah, you definitely would have wanted to stay indoors indeed. But I know
yesterday it was 19 degrees.
19?
Yes.
Well, I know a lot of people, whoever are inside working in air conditioning around the hot temps, they definitely appreciate being at work. Those are times when you actually wake up excited to go to work, yeah? But it is nonetheless a beautiful Wednesday morning. As we mentioned, I looked outside and I saw that it looks like it's going to be another sunny day. So if you're getting ready for work, definitely take an extra bottle of water, or just simply drink your water throughout the day because it's going to be warm.
Better yet, inform your employer that he or she needs to buy at least 2 5-gallon and leave it right next to the cooler.
Yeah, and make sure that it stays cool too.
Yes.
But we do have quite a number of topics to jump into this morning, Isani. I know what has been a buzz yesterday on social media as well as on the news was our headline story actually, and it comes after the announcement of a robbery that took place here in Belize City that ultimately led to one of the individuals actually robbing a bakery, losing his life.
So I got a text message around 11:30 thereabout yesterday morning, and so I had a team deployed to the scene, but I wasn't quite sure how long it would have taken them to respond from where they were on another assignment. So I decided to just spin by to see what the situation was, right? At that time, however, we weren't informed that one of the 3 suspects who pulled off this attempted robbery had passed away on the scene, had been killed on the scene. It wasn't until we got there and I was asking a few questions to some of the officers who were on the scene that we got a better picture of what transpired. Now, admittedly, I believe many of us would have erroneously reported that it was the laundromat that was hit by these 3 individuals.
Yes.
Come to find out a bit later on, it was actually the bakery that's adjacent to the laundromat that was the target of this attempted robbery. Now, so we've already established what happened. I think what I want to discuss is the fact that you have 3 fairly young men who are able, right? In the sense that they could have found any other number of jobs to take on.
Yeah.
But when you have, and forgive my description, idle minds, right? They're not necessarily thinking about finding gainful employment. They're thinking amongst themselves, let's go and pull off this robbery, we'll make some money. Now, whether or not the bakery was the ideal place to rob based on perhaps what they were seeking is another question.
Yeah, this is 11:30 in the morning.
Yes, and let's admit it, a laundromat, a bakery, a small mom and pop store does not hold that kind of cash. Perhaps they don't even make that kind of money for the day. But Sabrina, I'm looking at it from the point of view of a parent. Now imagine you saw your son just a few moments before this incident took place, and you eventually get a call or information that your son is dead upstairs of a building. He was shot and killed while trying to pull off a robbery. For any parent who would have just seen their son and was completely unaware that that was the intention, that call is devastating.
Yeah.
If you don't know your son to be engaged in that kind of activity, right? I don't know the parents of this young man. I really don't know. I don't know if they were completely blindsided by what happened, or they may have known the kind of activity that he is involved with his friends. I don't know. I'm simply saying that that is perhaps one angle to look at it from. Now the other angle is, at least from my point of view here, the individual who struggled with these robbers was able to wrestle the weapon out of their possession and fire the fatal shot. He has to, in a sense, now think about his safety. Because more often than not, these young men belong to some kind of a gang or some kind of a group or what have you, right? And so while you protected and defended your life in that particular instance, what happens going forward?
Yeah, that's a tough place to be in. I want to echo a point that you made, and I think it was the first one, because that was also a comment or comments that I was seeing on social media, and it has to do with individuals choosing to invade a space or forcibly take the property of another individual as opposed to finding meaningful employment.
Yeah.
And this is a sentiment that was echoed all over social media, at least what I saw. And there were individuals posting and saying, you know, well, Lisani, there are so many jobs available when we look at call centers, and there are individuals choosing to try to rob another individual or take the property of someone else. We're in a time and age now, Isani, where everyone is struggling to make their ends meet. So if you come to me and try to take the little that I have, there's a good chance that I will fight for what I have now. So I think that might have been the situation that took place. Of course, in this case, the baker or whoever was at the bakery was also probably trying to protect his or her own life. And that would have resulted in him using the weapon against the individual that was trying to rob him. But I can't say that this is a situation that is comfortable on any side. As you pointed out in your last point, Isani, this individual that fired that fatal shot probably now is in a situation concerned of the safety of his own life. We don't know what will take place after.
It's an altogether botched attempt at trying to make a few dollars.
Yeah.
Because notwithstanding the loss of life, the other individuals who attempted this daring robbery they ended up being caught, right? So nobody won. I mean, if I'm to go by what my colleague reporter had in her story yesterday, that they made off with a set of keys, I mean, what will you do with that?
Yeah.
You know, why risk? I mean, some people would argue, and it's not a position that I hold. It's not one that I can relate to. But perhaps I would expand my mind enough to understand. Some people would say, job hard to find out here, and this is perhaps their resort. I don't know, right? However, for a few dollars, and this is how this all played out.
And it looks like it was
really
the
messed
youngest
up.
person that died too, which, I mean, takes us back to the coverage that we've been providing for the past couple days on the youngest member being taken up in the state of emergency. We are looking at younger and younger kids being a part of criminal activities, Isani, and this is something that we should be concerned about. We have to find a way to mitigate these issues, and I'm hoping that when we see stories like this, it shocks us enough to want to ensure that our kids are indoors and not taking part in these activities.
If we're to sort of expand the conversation just a bit more, we ran a story yesterday as well where the Commissioner of Police from the previous day had given an interview on the topic of witnesses coming forward with information that would assist in the justice process, right? And so you look at this particular
Your case is
incident
as strong as the witness willing to come forward.
Yeah. You look at this particular incident where a young woman gave us an eyewitness testimony of what she saw and heard take place, albeit under the condition of anonymity for obvious reasons. Now, whether or not this individual is prepared to go to court and share that information of what she saw and what have you to assist in, forming some kind of a case against the other persons who were arrested is another thing. But by and large, for whatever reason, we see things, we know things, but we're very apprehensive for whatever reason to share that knowledge in a court setting.
Yes.
And it brings to mind all of these other questions and concerns, right? You would recall, Sabrina, that persons have testified before and end up being threatened. You would also recall that in the case of Sean Menzies, the Bowen & Bowen employee who was murdered a couple of years ago, someone testified against the suspects and not long after was found in a shallow grave along the highway near Biscayne, right? So it's a legitimate concern on the part of the citizenry in terms of how they go about sharing these information to the courts, right? But you look at it in the round and you get to understand that there is law enforcement, there is the justice system, and then there's the safety and well-being of the persons who are accessing both law enforcement and the justice system.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, in this case, I think what the Commissioner of Police has shared in several conversations before the one that we shared last night was ways that we can potentially protect our witnesses. So that's a conversation that we've been having for years. And I'm hoping that as we recognize the challenges faced when it comes to bringing these criminals to justice, we're able to look at other ways that we also need to protect these witnesses as well, because we will not see people come forward to testify and to share what they saw or heard unless they know that they're protected as well.
Yeah.
But moving into another topic, we have also been talking about the Sisani since over the weekend, actually well before that. But there has been an update by way of a press conference that was held yesterday with the leader of the opposition and leader of the United Democratic Party, Honorable Moses Shine-Barrow. Now, I believe this was the first interview he has given since the suspended NPC meeting, yes?
Yes, and just to point out a bit of the irony here, right? We were all at Shine-Barrow's press brief yesterday when we received word of this incident on Freetown Road. So it kind of felt clipped a bit, like a bit aborted, simply because I observed other reporters just start pulling their camera and responding to the shooting, right? But nonetheless, we had enough from the leader of the opposition yesterday in terms of sharing his perspective on what took place on Saturday. Here is the thing, Sab. One, the leader of the opposition has filed a formal complaint against the second deputy leader, Beverly Williams, for threatening him during Saturday's fiasco, right? And deeply personal insults were hurled across the floor, if you want to look at it that way. How do you now go back and say, hey, Sab, let's sit around the table and put this all behind us?
Water under the bridge after...
How do you propose to say it's water under the bridge when you took a personal swipe at someone, or it is perceived in that manner?
I mean,
it's difficult to make those kinds of amends.
According to the leader of the opposition, he said that Miss Beverly Williams made a personal threat towards him, saying that she would send someone to hurt him. So indeed, the question is fair, and I think this was actually posed to him yesterday as well, yes? Yeah,
I mean, again, looking at things in the round, right? It's difficult for something or an issue to devolve into a personal attack. So if we're discussing an issue, in this case, the UDP desperately needs to get it together if they're going to be viable going into the 2025 general elections. But if they're spending all of this time bickering and fighting amongst themselves to the point where personal insults become the order of the day, then how do you move past that?
Yeah. Well, Isani, I think the big question that everyone is asking right now is what happens next? We saw the letter that was sent to the chairman of the party.
We also saw his response.
We also saw his response. We were also able to get an official response from Honorable Shine Barrow as well, essentially explaining why that their letter being sent to the chairman was dead on arrival. Now, I'm hoping that you have some level of experience, perhaps from the past in coverage that you would have done, to explain why exactly this letter would be dead on arrival. Because essentially he is saying that they agreed in the past convention that they would not have another convention until after the next general elections.
So,
is that something that can take place?
well, let's go over specifically what you just shared. Again, we're echoing the words of, or the position of the opposition leader. He is saying that roughly a year ago, in August of 2023, at a national convention, two things were decided upon, right? One, who would have become the leader of the United Democratic Party. That's the first one. And he was voted as the party leader. The second is there would be no challenge of the leadership of the UDP until after the 2025 generals. Those are the two things that were put on the table, the two motions that were put on the table, and they were voted upon or agreed upon. So he's saying now, while this is in a sense enshrined, how do you come back now and say, let's have another national convention to choose a leader within a 90-day frame?
He's saying you can't change your mind.
Yeah. Essentially, he's saying it's irreversible because that was agreed upon by consensus, essentially. The majority of the delegates who were there, 500 and some odd, voted that this is the position that they will take going forward. So you can't really walk back on that position. At least that's the argument that he is making, and he's also saying that the chairman is essentially simply carrying through on that agreement. But you have this cabal, these four very strong and influential members of the party who are saying, look, we need new leadership if we're going to be formidable against the PUP next year. And so new leadership means that we need to call a national convention and effectively change the executive, right? Which would start from the chairman, the party leader, the deputy party leader. Everybody has to go, essentially. That's what they're saying. Now, whether or not that is practical given the timetable, and I think one of the biggest questions anyone would have is, the Prime Minister can very well pull the trigger at any time and call the elections. Will they be prepared? Is there sufficient time for them to mount a campaign should that happen? Because convention would tell you, and this is just my way of thinking, right? I'm sorry, I'll put my knee on your neck when I know that you're down, in a manner of speaking, right? To say that they're at their weakest point. Why not just simply call the thing?
And that's a question we've been asking the People's United Party for the past few weeks. But of course, the Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño, has emphasized that he has no intentions of calling an early election, but it can very well, he could change your mind. So this
and in
is
politics,
something.
you can change your mind on a dime, right?
But what was interesting, though, Honorable Shine Barrow mentioned in his interview yesterday, look, read the fine print. This is what the agreement was. You guys essentially agreed to this, and you can't go back on your word. It's going to be interesting to see how these individuals will challenge that, because they have expressed, I believe, that they plan to take this to the courts as well.
Well, the thing is, they have gone about it via a petition to get as many signatures as they can that would sort of galvanize the position that they are taking. And so what it comes down to, perhaps, is the will of the delegates, the people, versus what would have been the initial agreement. It's to say like this, right? Yes, we agreed that we're going to be happily ever after as a wedded couple going forward. But within a year, we realized we have irreconcilable differences. It's not to say that you can't walk back on that vow, right? That's how I look at it.
I do
You
too.
can't walk back on that vow. I mean, we know the workout. We know the workout.
Yeah,
right?
and that seems to be the situation here. Of course, there are parts of the UDP that seem to just not be able to digest or take in their current leader, and it's showing in so many ways, publicly and seemingly internally as well. I believe it was Ms. Tracy Panton, she mentioned in her quickly formed press conference on Saturday that there seems to be a challenge with the current leader of the UDP, where the minute you go against him, he decides to take you out. And in this case, it would be out of the party. But it's going to be an interesting development. Obviously, this is not a good place for the second largest mass party, or one of a second mass party to be in. It's also not good for our democratic process here in Belize. So I'm hoping that our opposition gets it together.
In all of it, though, I received a screenshot of a message last night where they were putting a motion, and this is what I find interesting in a funny way. So they have a failed meeting of the NPC, but then they're circulating via WhatsApp a motion to remove Andrew Bradley, I believe, as the standard bearer for Caribbean Shores, right? So how do we now move from perhaps meeting in person and having a sober conversation as to the decisions we're going to take, to shooting something by WhatsApp and asking for a consensus on the decision to be made? I don't know, that goes beyond me.
Yeah, it's a hot mess, as I would say. But of course, as we get further developments, we will be providing that in our newscast, and of course by way of discussion on What's Buzzing. There is another topic that I do want to bring up, Isani, because it was also trending online yesterday on social media. I don't believe it was a part of our newscast, but it was an announcement that a 15-year-old girl was attacked by sharks while swimming near Half Moon Key. Now, this has been devastating for more than one reasons, obviously because of the attack, but I have to say, I saw images circulating online, which I think is very disturbing, and I'm hoping that we don't show the actual image just to share with okay, perfect, it was blurred out. There has been several concerns raised by this, of course. One of them, I believe, there was a post made by Ms. Janelle Chanona expressing for persons to not reshare that image as well. So I'm hoping for persons who were able to see this story, that if they do share it, share the blurred image. But obviously our thoughts and prayers are with this individual at this time. I believe she is still trying to recover, but I can't imagine what that experience must have been like.
No, I saw the image, and admittedly it was quite jarring. It took me a while to process what I saw. But these are some of the, when you decide you're going to go diving or swimming in an area, right, you have to expect that you'll have an encounter. Right? You may not have an encounter. It might be a fine, perfect day to be out snorkeling or whatever activity you're doing out at sea, but at the same time too, things do happen, right? And so, again, as I've mentioned, and you've mentioned it as well, you know, our hearts go out to the family and to the young victim, that, you know, she gets the kind of sound medical treatment that she needs to be able to recover from this shark attack.
Absolutely. When I saw that story, I immediately said, wow, new fare unlocked. Because one, I don't do water. I don't do like swimming in deep waters in general. And I always say, Sani, I respect the ocean, because one, I can't breathe down there. And two, there's a whole other life that we don't even, we probably have not even discovered all of the species underwater. So I know though that there are thrill seekers who love diving. And there are stories of individuals who have lost a limb even, not only from diving, but surfing even. So I'm hoping that we're able to take the necessary caution. I believe swimming with the sharks at Half Moon Key is kind of like an experience that you can pay for, yes? A tourist experience?
Not at Half Moon Key.
Okay.
I know there's Chakre Alley,
Yes.
where those kinds of activities.
But I know that there are people that pay for those experiences to be swimming with sharks and whatnot.
But
and while it might be beautiful on picture, I still take caution.
Okay, so if we're talking about at Chakre Alley, those are nurse sharks, and those are fairly docile animals. But in terms of, you know, being around a hammerhead or a tiger shark or some other species of shark, that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we mentioned, we will be following this story. We're hoping that the young lady was able to get the necessary treatment or continues to get the necessary treatment that she needs. But our final topic of discussion, Isani, is KTV The Remix. And you would know that because yesterday was episode 6 of KTV The Remix. And it was also Pop or Country Night, which was really fun. I have to say, I have been enjoying the season so far. I was telling Paul yesterday that I feel like it's been flying by so quickly. But it's been bittersweet. We've been able to see these contestants take the stage week after week and really develop themselves as stronger singers and performers. But each week we also have to say goodbye to someone. This was the second week that 2 individuals, the bottom 2, would have had to fight for their space in the competition. Shockingly, we actually saw 2 of our strongest singers battle, and that was Jada Tillett there on screen. She unfortunately had to go home last night after battling it with Ezekiel, or Elijah. And that was a tough place to be in, I have to say, because as I mentioned, both of them are very strong singers. But ultimately, it came down to who did it best in Battle Round. But throughout the competition, as well as I mentioned, it was also Pop or Country Night. So we saw the remaining contestants take the stage in their song of choice when it comes to pop or country. And I saw most of them sing country songs. I believe Elijah was the only one that really surprised me with his song of choice. He went with Love on the Brain by Rihanna, or from Rihanna. And I believe it was Andaze that told him what was really amazing about him is that he finds a way every week to give his Elijah take on each song. You know, he makes it his own.
That's the beauty of it, though. It's you're performing a cover, so you should be able to still, you know, add your own twist or your flavor to it, right? Oftentimes when we listen to songs that are being remade by another artist, they try to personalize it so that it also reflects their own personality, their voice, and the way how they would present the song. Yes.
Also on the screen there, if you're wondering who that lady was in the middle, that's actually Giselle O'Brien, and I think this was the first time since the season has started that she has joined the group in their group number. I believe this was the second group number, and they sang Someone You Love, I believe. But it was wonderful because Giselle O'Brien is their vocal coach. But she joined them on stage last night to sing this song for the presentation as the group number. So I have to say, I really love Giselle. She's such a talented artist. She teaches music in general, different instruments. But we know her for her contribution to KTV when it comes to vocal training. But the show continues, Isani, and of course we will be going into next week's show, which I believe is the semifinals. Okay, not next week. So we have 3 more shows left, but it's going to be much harder as we go along, and I can't imagine what these contestants are feeling like. You don't want to drop the ball in the last few weeks, Isani. This is not the time to drop the ball. I believe our producer...
Inevitably, someone will, because that's how you get to a finalist.
Yes, I know, but it's still tough to watch your favorites go. So as always, we remind you guys to vote for your favorites. It's only 50 cents. And of course, you have an entire week to do so. The cutoff day is Sunday at 12 p.m. So definitely definitely do what you have to do to ensure that your favorite stays in. The time is winding down where the show will be concluding. I know for a lot of people who look forward to KTV every year, when KTV season done, you feel a void on Tuesday nights. Like, what do you do at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays after that, you know? But of course, as always, we also remind you guys to experience it with us at the Bliss. I have gone to one live show so far, and it's only because I would be going to every one of them, but it's only because I have morning show the next day. But I watch at home.
Some would argue, Sab, that you attend more basketball games this season than you've attended KTV.
Why you have to put me on the spot like that, Isani? But also, what I do want to say is even if you're able to just experience the semifinals or the finals at the Bliss, please do so. The experience is much different. The sound quality, the presentation that you see, even taking part in the show, their halftime show, it's always really fun and entertaining. So we want to remind you guys to be a part of that experience with us. I do want to note, however, though, that next week, Tuesday, we won't be having KTV The Remix because we're actually doing something even more fun. We will be hosting the Caribbean Broadcasting Union Awards next week in Placencia as well. So we're going to be taking a quick beat, but when we come back, the show does continue, and there's going to be a lot more fun to take place. But that does it for our What's Buzzing conversation, Isani.
Yes,
it has been quite an insightful and interesting discussion this morning. If you have any topics that you'd like to suggest or any comments on any of the discussions that took place, definitely put it in the comments section. Moving, though, into our eye-opener this morning for your daily dose of morning motivation. Isani, would you like to take it away this morning?
Sure. Here it goes. A deep feeling of gratitude can emerge as we open to the experience of being helped. Most of us pride ourselves on our self-sufficiency. We like to be responsible for taking care of ourselves and pulling our own weight in the world. This is why it can be so challenging when we find ourselves in a situation in which we have to rely on someone else. At times like these, it is essential that we let go of our feeling that we should be able to do it all by ourselves and accept the help of others. The first step is accepting the situation fully as it is. Too often we make things worse either by trying to do more than we should or by lapsing into feelings of uselessness. In addition, we miss a valuable opportunity to practice acceptance and humility. In needing others and allowing them to help us, we experience the full realization that we are not on our own in the world. While this may bring up feelings of vulnerability, a deep feeling of gratitude also may emerge as we open to the experience of being helped. This realization can enable us to be wiser in our service of others when we are called upon to help. The gifts of surrender are numerous. We discover humility, gratitude, and a deepening understanding of the human experience that enables us to be that much more compassionate and surrendered in the world. You have to know when you need help. You have to be prepared mentally to accept help. And that's how you're able to get ahead in the world.
Yeah.
Because for me, there's one prevailing thought and a proverb: no man is an island.
I thought about that too when I read this eye-opener last night, because I was thinking exactly that. And that is a point that we frequently bring up in different versions of eye-openers that we get. But it's a thought that without these eye-openers, I think we should always remember throughout our lives, because a lot of us sometimes we thrive on hyper-independence. We love the idea of being able to handle our own, but there's beauty in having a shoulder to lean on as well, and knowing that an individual or individuals would be there for you if you need that type of support. And in knowing that, you can also be that for someone else too, because there's a sense of gratitude and humility that you also get from lending a helping hand to another person too. So I'm hoping that you guys were able to take something from this eye-opener that would be of use to you today or throughout the week. Moving now on to weather. As we mentioned, it was hot yesterday. So let's find out what it's going to look like today, of course, from the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning. Generally fair and warm conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast. Skies will be mostly sunny today and then clear to partly cloudy tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated, except for the chance of a few more developing over the south tonight. High temperatures for today will reach around 91 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 96 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 84 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. For tonight, low temperatures will reach around 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 75 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and sea conditions will be slight. High tides occur at 11:30 this morning and then at 12:13 tomorrow morning. Low tides at 6:28 this evening and then at 6:20 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 8:07 this morning and set at 8:35 this evening. Sunset is at 6:22 this evening and sunrise at 5:34 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast. Generally fair and warm conditions are expected with isolated showers or thunderstorms on Thursday. Then activity will gradually increase late Thursday night, starting along coastal areas. And now for the tropical weather outlook. Showers and thunderstorms located over the western Caribbean Sea are associated with a tropical wave. This tropical wave has a very low chance of developing during the next 48 hours. Elsewhere in the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, and that's your weather update. Moving now into our show lineup, we have three great conversations to look forward to this morning. Starting things off, Isani, we'll be talking about exciting opportunities available with the University of Belize's medical school.
That will be an interesting
It will
conversation. Our second topic will be the annual National Song Competition. There are 7 finalists who have been chosen. We will be joined by the Director of the Institute of Creative Arts to talk to us all about this year's competition.
All right, and it's another super sale with the Belize City Council, so we'll be having them on set with us as well to talk to us about what we can expect this weekend. But we got to take that first break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about exciting opportunities with the University of Belize's medical school.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Having issues with low water pressure in your home? Well, the Goulds ResiBoost Compact Booster Pump System provides the solution you need. This system isn't just any constant water pressure system. It's a product of Goulds Water Technology's next generation engineering and design. This easy-to-install plug-and-play system is more reliable, more durable, and more efficient at ensuring strong, consistent water pressure throughout your entire household. Take your water pressure to the next level with Goulds ResiBoost. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Get ready for the 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, live from beautiful Placencia, Belize. Join us as Belize hosts this prestigious event, showcasing its rich blend of cultures, pristine natural beauty, and warm hospitality. tune in to Channel 5 for the opening ceremony on Monday, August 12th at 7 p.m. and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. It'll also stream on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss this exciting opportunity to celebrate excellence in Caribbean broadcasting. The 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards, live on Channel 5.
Child marriage is not just a legal issue, it's a matter of human rights and a form of gender-based violence. It often emerges from cultural beliefs and influence of closed-minded relatives, depriving children of their basic human rights to freedom, security, education, and a voice.
Power on with confidence. Design Depot brings you an attractive selection of GE appliances, including microwaves, washers, dryers, refrigerators, dishwashers, countertop appliances, and more. We understand the importance of appliances that not only endure, but also excel in performance. As your trusted GE USA authorized dealer, we stand for reliability and performance, ensuring that you can power on with confidence. Visit us today and power on with efficient, reliable, and energy-saving solutions with GE appliances from Design Depot.
Design Depot, all in one place.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Having issues with low water pressure in your home? Well, the Goulds ResiBoost Compact Booster Pump System provides the solution you need. This system isn't just any constant water pressure system. It's a product of Goulds Water Technology's next generation engineering and design. This easy-to-install plug-and-play system is more reliable, more durable, and more efficient at ensuring strong, consistent water pressure throughout your entire household. Take your water pressure to the next level with Goulds ResiBoost. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
And welcome back. There's been a slight change in our show lineup this morning. We're kicking things off with the National Song Competition. And with that being said, we have been joined on set this morning by the Director of the Institute of Creative Arts, our good friend Kim Vasquez. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
And she is joined by Asia Samuels. She's the Program Officer for Sector Development at ICA. Good morning, Asia.
Good morning.
Ladies, we're talking about the annual National Song Competition. Yes. And it's that time of year again where we have all of these very talented Belizean artists performing in the competition. Let's start with a bit of history on the song competition and its significance going into September celebrations.
Right, so it used to be a very big part of the national celebrations.
And like many things, we lost it. Oh my goodness, we lost it during COVID. And but we also realized that many of the programs that were dormant during COVID, it gave us time to reflect and to rebuild and revamp. And so we changed the format in many ways of the National Song Competition. And we tried to make it really now to focus on and align with music sector objectives, where we want to see the music industry grow.
Yeah.
And so we came back last year, in the middle of the September celebrations. We had the competition right in September, but this year we want to go earlier so that the songs can come out earlier. And it used to be this way. It used to be towards the ending of August, so that the songs could come out in time and get the airplay and get you in that patriotic spirit. And so here we are now in our second year with the return of the National Song Competition.
What was different this time around, aside from having it at an earlier date? We shared, I think it was on the news last night, that there were 7 finalists now, and they are able to sing in various different genres, but it has to meet a certain level of criteria.
Yes, so we put out the call, I think, in early June. Early June we put out the call, and it was open to Belizeans 18 years and up, and we have a finalist from the diaspora who is a child of the diaspora, as I understand, no? So if you are a Belizean 18 years and up, you could have joined. You had to have an original song. It had to have not been released before. And we asked, yes, there were certain things that you had to meet, and this is where Asia, as the sector development officer, would come in, because we keep saying that the song competition is very nurturing and supportive. This is not the type of competition that is cutthroat. It's not intended to be that way.
Yeah.
So we want you to learn, or as artists, to have certain things for yourself, your bio, your headshot. If you don't have a bio written, you can have what is an electronic one. You know, you can have an electronic press kit. You need to know how to put together a technical writer, and that one was tricky for a lot of them, but that's fine. That's fine. It's a working process. A folder was open for you, and you could start to work along. I don't have this yet, but I want to come in. And the most important thing is that they got this very detailed guideline booklet that Asia had put together that gave them everything, what we're looking for, what the judges will be looking for, what is the criteria and the guidelines. A webinar was done as well to familiarize, to answer questions that, the potential contestants might have. And so, yeah, it's been a process coming to this point. It's been several months of groundwork.
Yes.
What I appreciate about it, as you've mentioned, what I'm hearing from you is more of artist development than it is a competition. Perhaps in the past, people come with their song already composed, their music composed, and then they just enter. But this time around, it's a full-on process where they get to understand how the music industry works at the very elemental level.
Very true. Even certain things that may have seemed like there was an adjustment, because one of the things Niche used to do in the past was to provide a band at our expense. And we would then work out all of this rehearsal and things. And what we're saying is, once you make it to the finalist stage, we give you $1,500 to mobilize. And this is not a competition that you perform with track.
Yeah.
You have to perform with a band.
Live.
And if you don't have a band, that's why we said we encourage everybody to come into the process early. There are many bands in Belize that will happily work with emerging artists, with existing artists, and they do in fact back other artists all the time. Center Stage,
like
Quick Vibration, right? Super Furia, Kenny Gladden, they will happily back you into the competition. But we can tell you how to work out some of those business arrangements on the back end. You also don't have to write your own songs. You can. One of the contestants, Jackie Cass, her song was written by somebody else, right? So,
how does that part of it work?
Yes.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with performing someone else's lyrics.
Right.
Right? But in terms of that person going on to win the competition, I would presume that there has to be a split in terms of who all gets compensated, right?
Yes, exactly, right? And that is what we're getting into now, the business of music. And this is where I think The sector in Belize is so very productive right now. I have so many alarms on my phone, I have to apologize. It's so productive right now that, you know, there are a lot of things happening, a lot of events. Artists are being booked more than ever.
Yeah.
But then it's the back end now that we have to be careful with, the intellectual property and the copyright and all of these things. But it might seem daunting, but it's like with any business, right? You go in, you make sure that you have your proper agreements, and you take care of everything ahead of time.
Yes.
And this is where, like I said, we're seeing now where like Coconut Boy and Nello, who have won multiple times, are saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to start to mentor, I'm going to work with an artist, give them a song. This is exactly what we want to see happen.
Yes. I want to get Asia in the conversation since she was heavily involved with these artists as well. Asia, let's talk about the criteria for this competition as Ms. Kim was suggesting.
Okay, so with the criteria, there's 6 main things. As Ms. Kim mentioned, you would need to be 18 and older. You would need to have a song that hasn't been released as yet. And then also you would need a clear headshot. It doesn't have to be anything professional. It just has to be clear. Also for the song, it has to be in MP3 format. It doesn't have to be, you know, of quality in a studio, of all of that, you know, just a really clear, good song. And then also the technical writer. So this is something that, you know, some people didn't know or they needed, you know, assistance with. So the webinar really helped.
What is a technical writer?
So a technical writer is like a stage plot. It tells you exactly where everything is going to go, where the microphones are going to be set up, where the monitors, where your keyboards, where everything is supposed to go. So this is something very important, you know, for us to have so we can know where everything should go. So
it's like what we call a floor plan, right?
Yeah, yeah. So when you get on stage, everything is set for you and you don't have to worry about that. Then also you would need to have a cover art for your song. So throughout this entire process, we had some persons that sent their submissions in and it was incomplete. So, you know, I just let them know, here are the guidelines and this is what you need to do. And I just guide them, you know, along the process.
Now, these songs, as Ms. Kim mentioned, we're hoping for Belizeans to embrace them into the September celebrations. But we also want to know, what exactly are you guys looking for as that winning song? What should those lyrics say? What is the sound that we're hoping to hear? Is there a criteria when it comes to that?
Yes, so when it comes to the melody and the harmony of it, we want to include Belizean instrument, the Creole drums, we want steel pan, we want that really nice Caribbean vibe. For this song, it doesn't have to have Belize in it. It just has to probably reflect on tradition or an experience. You know, whenever you hear this song, you think about Belize.
Okay.
So it's, and also any genre, it doesn't have to be soca or anything like that. It can even be like a rap, you know, we opened it to any different genre. But we really got some good submissions, some really good songs.
Are you at liberty, Kim, to share with us the names of these 7 finalists?
I will, but I want to actually read, because this is important. This is what the judges are looking for, and they have been looking for. Originality. That the composition should be unique and demonstrate a high level of creativity. Melody, that the melody should be engaging and memorable. Lyrics are meaningful, relatable, and reflect Belizean culture and identity with a compelling theme or topic, no profanity, vulgarity, or violence. And the arrangement of the composition should be well structured and appropriate to the genre. And then there's other things like harmony. And this competition goes in 2 phases, the song, and then they come when they go live next week Friday. So they're looking at their vocal and stage performance. The vocal performance should be technically proficient and delivery emotionally expressive. Of course, we're also looking at the production, the overall quality, and we want that, yes, audience impact, that the song should leave a lasting impact. So those are some of the things that, you know, they should be, you know. If you want to enter the song competition, to keep in mind, and yes, we have, I can call them out for you, we have Wilson Greenwich, we have Echo Jackie Cass, We have
I see
Kubi.
QB, yeah.
We have Lennox Awardo, Shadow, and Alan Castillo. I hope I didn't miss any of them. It's 7, right?
Yeah.
Right? Echo Middleton as well, right?
I think one of the features of this competition that we all appreciate, which is actually a part of the competition, is the performance aspect. That it's not only the song that matters, we have to believe in the presentation that you give. How important is that when it comes to the presentation that will take place on next week, Friday?
It's very important. That's why the technical writer is a key part of the competition. They have to we have to be able to prepare how many microphones you will need. You know, are you working with backup singers? Are you working with backup dancers? And that's entirely up to you if you want to come in with props. You know, we saw Sharon Martinez last year come in with her big carnival costume. That's entirely up to you. But this is where now, like I said, again, towards industry development, being able to come out on stage and work with a live band and deliver a good performance. You know, that your vocals are, you know, everything is hitting all the correct notes and points that you need to be. Right.
If I could share a bit of a personal experience, because last year Nello Player had an entry.
Yes.
And he was in the finals.
Yes.
And he did a cultural presentation where he looked at all the ethnic groups in the country. And so I represented the Gerfna.
You were a part of it.
Yes, you were. I just remember that. Yes.
But I wouldn't have known how much work goes into it until I became a part of his presentation, and I started realizing, okay, this is very, very detailed in terms of what he was asking us to do, in terms of where we stood on the stage, all of that sort of stuff. So it gave me a newfound appreciation for everything that goes into planning and executing these songs.
And it makes me reflect on last year. And you know, Nello was in the top 3.
Yeah.
And you know, this year we listened to the feedback because we didn't name officially 2nd and 3rd last year, but this year we're going to name 2nd and 3rd and also give them a small cash prize. The big prize, of course, is $20,000. But you know, it really speaks again to everybody putting in the work early. This is not a competition that you want to slide into in the last minute. You want to do the work and come to the competition well prepared. And again, a lot of this is towards sector development. We, up until the day, you are given a sound check schedule. And if you don't adhere to that right up to that point, you are told in the guidelines you can be disqualified. Because sound check and load in, you're given a time when you will bring in all of your equipment and your band and everything will enter into the bliss. These things are very important, but it's not to create these hurdles, but rather to prepare you to the next time BTB has a music festival, or the next time you're invited to some regional festival, you will be better prepared.
It's also a part of professional development too, because no one wants to book someone and you don't show up on time. You know,
time is always the biggest factor.
It is. So, but this is going to be exciting. I know that we are watching the weather and hoping that everything works out well when it comes to that. But we do want to remind you guys that it will be held indoors, so rain or shine, nothing to stop this reggae jam.
I think an interesting conversation, if I could throw this in there quickly, is the move from hosting a national song competition from an outdoor setting to inside the Bliss. Talk to us a bit about that, Kim.
A deliberate decision. Again, one of the things we wanted to do was to create a very level playing field. And the Bliss has the acoustics. It's indoor. It has all of its wires and its cable, and we don't need to worry about running this and running that, and if it should rain or if it gets particularly breezy. You know, and so I think for a long time, Belizeans were used to going to MCC or to Marion Jones. But this is a competition now, and you know, and so a lot of the elements have changed. One of the new features is that it's almost like you're watching a show, because when they come out, they also do a warm-up song. And again, this is something again towards the nurturing aspect of the competition. That song will allow us on our end to make any last-minute adjustments on the part of the engineer. But it's also giving you that time to feel the audience, to loosen up, to warm up. And you know, some people use it very strategically because you can, if you have won before or place, you may bring back one of your hits. You know, even that is a part of selecting what is my warm-up song. You want to be very strategic in how you go about doing that. And after they perform that song, then the MC dialogues briefly, and then they go into their song in the final.
Let's talk about the big reward for these artists. Aside from the development, there's a hefty cash prize of $20,000. And of course, as you mentioned, the second and third place winners will also be walking with cash incentives as well.
$3,000 and $2,000. Yes, right?
Do you have any sponsors that you'd like to highlight that were a part of this initiative?
Definitely. I will. Oh, thank you so much for asking that. We must acknowledge the National Celebrations Commission and Minister Francis Fonseca, our Minister of Culture, who wholeheartedly supported the revival and revamp of the National Song Competition and has been so encouraging from the get-go. When I said we have to have a prize of $20,000, it raised a lot of eyebrows. But when you think about investment, when I put this out there, because sometimes artists are hesitant even at certain levels of their career to come back and compete, and that's why I applaud Hubi and the more veteran ones like Echo that come to the competition, because I asked them, what would $20,000 do right now for your music career? What would you do with it? You could buy equipment, you could set up your own studio, you could travel, you could shoot a couple music videos. There is so much you could do. You could record, you could use it for studio time. And so when you start to put all of these costs together and talk about investing in someone's career, then you understand that $20,000, yes, if you're going to have a national song competition, a song that will represent us nationally and go around for decades and decades and maybe become an enduring hit, then we ought to compensate them very well.
Asia, is this your first song competition that you're working on? What's the experience been like for you?
Okay, so at first it was very slow coming in with the submissions, and so I was able to, you know, work one-on-one, you know, with some of the participants, and then leading up, because we were doing a countdown. So we count down 5 days, 4 days. And when it came to the final hours, everyone started submitting. And it got a bit hectic, you know, at that time. And then some of the submissions were incomplete and stuff like that. So I always, you know, like Ms. Kim said, encouraged to start submitting earlier, start asking questions, you know, was there to, you know, give assistance to anyone who asked. But so far it's a lot of planning. You know, a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of reaching out, confirming different things, but it has been a fun experience so far, so I can't wait to see the actual live performance.
Well, let's hear that date, time, location, and ticket prices.
Yes, ticket prices are only $10 and $5, and we're making a special appeal. More and more we're making an appeal where the ICA events that are hosted there at Belize, that are hosted at home, that the public support us, because, you know, this continues the work of the Bliss Center, the renovation of the theater itself. And of course, we want you there to give the audience that energy to feed off of. So it's next Friday, 8 p.m. at the Bliss. You can get your tickets in advance. They're only $10 for adults and $5 for kids. Let's pack the Bliss Theater and give support to these 7 artists.
Yes. All right. And do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share, Ms. Samuels?
No.
Okay, well, ladies, thank you so much for stopping by. We are excited for the National Song Competition, and we can't wait to see what those submissions look like.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
All right, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into UB Medical School.
When it come to dancing, you see we on the street. Dance up, scotch, move on back. Give me old Belize. She clear from all over, get ship out overseas. We broke way back the chop and chop.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or a self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
Get ready for the 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, live from beautiful Placencia, Belize. Join us as Belize hosts this prestigious event, showcasing its rich blend of cultures, pristine natural beauty, and warm hospitality. Tune in to Channel 5 for the opening ceremony on Monday, August 12th at 7 p.m. and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. It'll also stream on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss this exciting opportunity to celebrate excellence in Caribbean broadcasting. The 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards, live on Channel 5.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
I'm David Humes, this is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
Welcome back. We're having our second conversation this morning, and as we mentioned, it's all about opportunities with the University of Belize's medical school. We're joined this morning both on set and virtually by representatives of this initiative. I have here with me Dr. Lisa Johnson, and she is the Dean of UB School of Medicine. And joining us virtually is Dr. Vincent Palacio, and he is the University of Belize's president, as well as Professor Emmanuel Cummings, and he is the medical school accreditation consultant. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And
good
welcome.
Morning. And good morning to my colleagues in Belmopan.
Yes. Dr. Johnson, I remember you being on set with us. I believe it was probably late last year or just a few months ago. And this conversation came up about what we will be expecting from the National University here in Belize. University of Belize is now having a medical school. Yes. Let's talk about what this means for development in medicine here in Belize.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for that question. It is extremely important. At the current moment, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is conducting with the Pan American Health Organization a strategic plan for human resources in health. And this is a 5-year plan that the ministry renews and revamps and looks at the availability of nurses, nurse specialists, doctors, medical laboratory technicians, pharmacists, etc., within the healthcare team. And so we train all of those as a country, and now we are at the precipice of starting to train doctors. So it is advancement for the country. It's making what is a required profession in the country available without having to leave the country. And we can say that it is of international standard because we have to apply for accreditation in order for us to be viable. And the accreditation standards are kept by the CAMHP, which is our regional accreditation, which itself is accredited to the World Federation of Medical Education. So the university is doing something that has not been done before in this country.
How does it stack up against, and I'm asking this question simply because when we think of students going away to medical college, the first thought that comes to mind is Cuba.
Or Taiwan now.
Or Taiwan, or even in Guatemala, the University of San Carlos. How does what you guys are putting together, your curriculum, stack up against what's out there?
The curriculum is of the standards required by our accreditation agency and beyond. The whole point of going through accreditation is to ensure standards.
Yes.
And the world of medical education is changing. There were some decisions made before the pandemic that people who graduated from a school that did not have accreditation will no longer be able to access specialist training in the United States, Canada, the UK, Europe. And so we are a part of that, or on that road, and that is what is going to make the difference entirely. It also means that we are training to our needs, the health needs of our population and the region, and we're also training to our licensing standards, because our licensing standards are different than Cuba and different than Taiwan. And so our curriculum has to treat with that reality. And so the training is different, for example, from the US training, because their licensing standard is when someone is finished with medical school, they have to specialize.
Yeah.
They don't get a full license to practice until they've specialized and passed their boards. In the Caribbean, in the Commonwealth, it's different. You do your medical degree, which is usually a 5-year degree, not a 4, and then you do a period of internship, and then you have a full license to practice.
And you can decide if you want to specialize.
And then you can decide if you want to specialize after. But so the training has to fit the location
Yeah,
as well.
and the region, yeah.
So we're balancing ourselves on a number of levels, but once we are at CAMHP standard, there's no going back from there.
Let's get the president of the university in on the conversation at this point. Good morning, Dr. Palacio.
Good morning, Nisani and Sabrina. I'd also like to say good morning to Dean Johnson, who is in studio this morning. Yes, it is our pleasure to be on your station this morning to talk about this initiative. It's one that is noble, it's one that is huge, it's one that we're taking very seriously. As our mandate here at the university, we stand on 4 pillars, call it RISE. We need to be responsive, innovative, sustainable, and everything we do is in excellence. So here we have an initiative that falls under these 4 pillars of the university, continuing to meet the needs, the national needs of our country.
The UB constantly expands its course offerings and its curriculum of areas that Belizeans can study. How do you guys feel about this particular direction that you're taking, where you're offering a new medical experience for those who are interested in learning about medicine and the sciences of medicine?
It is a must, Isani. We're at the point where we need to continue to chart our destiny. We need to continue to meet the national needs. And, the pandemic taught us enough as to the shortage of healthcare professionals in the country. And so we ensure now that we have more training opportunities for nurses, for med lab technologists, for pharmacists, and now the big one for our doctors in this medical school. So the time is now. We're carving our destiny. We're meeting national needs. And believe me, the interest is there. What we did, we started an associate degree in pre-medical sciences, the pre-med. And this is on its 2nd year. Last year, we had, at the start, we had an intake of over 60 students in the pre-med program. And these students could matriculate directly into the medical school if they have a GPA of 3.0 or higher. And this year, school starts on Monday, and we have 62, I'm told, students who we accepted into the pre-med program for this year. So there will be over 120 students who at some point could end up into the medical program. So the time is now. We have to do it.
Yes, that's exciting. I want to get in the conversation Professor Emmanuel Cummings. As I mentioned, he is representing medical school accreditation consultant. And as you mentioned, Dr. Johnson, this is something very important as a part of this initiative with the University of Belize. I want to ask Professor Cummings, though, what his role is as a consultant when it comes to ensuring that the medical school is accredited.
Good morning, and thank you for having me in this program. Let me first say that I've been involved in medical education over 30 years. I'm a former dean of the medical faculty at the University of Guyana. I've been associated with accreditation. CAMHP was established in 2004. I was I was in the first team of evaluators that participated in any accreditation exercise in the Caribbean. The work of CAMHP have also been instrumental in having the University of Guyana School of Medicine accredited. And myself have been a medical educator for more than 30 years. So most of my academic life, my professional life has been in medical education and also with the issue of accreditation. So when I was contacted by the University of Belize, I said to them, when we wanted to start this medical school, I said, look, I will only get involved once we put every system in place to ensure that the school is accredited. And so that's what we did over the last 2 years, doing all the preparation. There are 122 standards, but in the initial stage, the school will go for an application of candidacy, which doesn't require the 122 standards, but standards that are enough, to have the school recognized as in terms of, that's one of the categories of accreditation, which is candidacy for a new and developing school. And so my role over the last 2 years was to ensure that paperwork, the governance structure of the university, which there's certain specific requirements in terms of the resources, the educational resources. We have the labs, the classrooms, the IT network, the books, all the resources that are required for the delivery of this program, the faculty that will be involved in teaching, the strategic plan of the university, the strategic plan of the medical school itself, and all of the financial requirements. And so over the last 2 years, that's what we're doing. That's sort of advice that I've been giving to the schools to ensure that all of these requirements are met. And I must say to you that we have met all of the school would have met all of these based on my advice and my guidance. And so we are at a point now where we have put together the application to CAMHP, that's the accrediting body within the region, and I can assure you it will be a successful application. So at the start of this, so when the school is launched, simultaneously an application will be made to CAMHP. Like I said, we're able to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, so that we have the required standards so as to ensure that this school will be an accredited medical school. That's also to go on to say, and I think Dean Johnson would have alluded to some of that. In the period in which we live, any medical school that students must know this, students should only apply to schools. There are lots of medical schools all over the place. Many of them are not accredited.
Right.
And what happens is that and they get in through the back door very shortly. And CAMHP had given an ultimatum in 2023. I think it has been extended because of COVID, most likely 2024, 2025. That schools that are not accredited, their graduates will not be allowed to get into the U.S. to do clerkship, to do residency, and even they should not even be registered by the local medical council in the respective countries.
Yes.
And so it shows you the importance of having accredited schools. So the students out there, the prospective students that in Belize and other parts of the world who might be watching this program, I want to assure them really that this school will be one that is accredited. And so there should be no fear. I've been here for the last 2 days, and I'm very impressed with the facilities that I've seen in terms of the classroom, the anatomy lab, skills lab, labs for the other basic sciences courses. There have already been arrangements with the hospital, memorandum of agreement with the two hospitals, the Carlisle Hospital and the other regional hospital here in Belmopan, that will facilitate the training of these. So all of those systems are in place. They're strongly, they're all being done the way that CAMHP would expect it to be done. So we look forward to a robust program, one that really, I can assure you, that would have met the standards that CAMHP do have.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Cummings, for the information that you provided and also the consultancy that you provided to us here in Belize as well. I want to take the conversation over to something that Professor Cummings mentioned, which was facility. And obviously, when we think of medicine, when we think of surgery even, that takes a hefty investment, Dr. Johnson. Let's talk about what these students will be expecting when it comes to infrastructure.
Well, the medical building on the University of Belize Central Campus in Belmopan has 3 classrooms, a computer lab. We will be setting up our skills lab within the next 4 to 6 weeks. There are 3 other traditional labs, an anatomy lab, a biochemistry and molecular biology lab, and a microbiology lab. And these are newly created and newly outfitted. It's been quite an investment for the university. The university already had a digital infrastructure, and that has been extended to now accommodate the medical program. The university has also added a major collection to its library, Medline Complete, which will provide access to faculty and students to all the latest literature being published in the various fields of medicine. And that is also, we think, a necessity for practicing doctors. And so it's going to be, it's a resource not only for faculty, not only for students, but for practicing doctors as well, as we need to keep up. Yeah. And there are the rules that come with accreditation encourage, and maybe I shouldn't say encourage, demand that the faculty research. It demands that the faculty keep up. And so we're putting in our HR management system and to acknowledge that. For example, if you are a general and trauma surgeon like me, you must attend an international conference in your area of specialty, an international conference of some repute, not just any old conference. And medicine, now we can attend these conferences online. Those are all very expensive ventures. And so we are part of putting together how the faculty will be managed within the school. It's all geared to encourage and help our physician faculty in particular to continue the level of continuing medical education that is expected in an accredited medical school.
Here's a question for both yourself and Dr. Palacio. A year or so ago, the government of Belize made an announcement that it would be building the next major hospital in Belmopan, in line with the University of Belize. How do you guys prepare for when this actually comes to fruition in terms of tailoring your curriculum for the practical aspect of the students that are going through this education to the hospital itself?
Well, there are a number of things that speaks to what I had mentioned earlier, the ministry developing its strategic plan for human resources in health. And they do one every 5 years, and that is a central focus. I mean, hospital medicine is particular. Staffing a tertiary level hospital is expensive. And what we would like to be able to do is to produce as many of the required healthcare team members for the hospitals in country, and for that one in particular. And what that will do is extend access for the people of Belize, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness as our partner in this, in all of this, cannot be overlooked for what they have contributed and are going to contribute to education of healthcare professionals. And they have committed to retrofitting all of the hospitals to have teaching spaces, because we're not, as I said, it's not only physicians, it's nurses, it's pharmacists, it's med lab techs, and each one of these disciplines require clinical teaching space. And so, and it also speaks to quality of healthcare. Because if you have a robust system of continuing education, you will have a robust and adaptable healthcare system.
Absolutely. I know what probably, Dr. Palacio, yes. Please join us.
Since it's directed at me as well. And also what we need to explain is that the first 2 years of the training in the medical school would be in classrooms here on the main campus, as Dean Johnson explained, the facility we have. But the last 3 years has to be in a hospital. So again, it's important that we have these tertiary hospitals or these teaching hospitals to ensure that our students have the last 3 years to do the practical skills of being a doctor. So I just wanted to add that piece.
Yes. What I know is on a lot of people's minds right now is, what does a venture like this cost for an aspiring student?
I would ask you to direct that to the president.
Dr. Palacio, this one's for you as well. As Isani mentioned, we want to know the dollars and cents. There are a lot of individuals that, as Isani mentioned, goes outside of the country on scholarships to Cuba, to Taiwan, to Guatemala even. Of course, there is a very big incentive of being at home with your family here. But what does something like this cost?
It is not cheap. It is not cheap. But what we're trying to do, we're trying to be as inclusive as possible. We're trying to ensure that Belizeans could take advantage of the medical school. So we are given some scholarships. We have 5 scholarships lined up for applicants who may deserve so. Dean Johnson will talk about that an exam that they will have to sit to qualify to get these scholarships. But to share with you, our competition in the region are charging excess of $50,000-$60,000 US a year to go to medical school. We will start for the first year at $25,000 per student for the year. Belize dollars, I'm talking here. So it will be very reasonable to do it at home and at such a reasonable price. So again, Dean Johnson explained how costly it is. We realize this, but if we're trying to meet a national need, we have to be able to meet, to be as inclusive as possible.
Yes. Well, I mean, as you mentioned, I believe you mentioned Dr. Johnson, or it was Dr. Palacio, school's about to start.
So we're looking at a start of classes at the end of September.
At the end of September.
We have our qualifying and scholarship exam coming up at the end of August. It's a 4-day exam, biology, chemistry, math, and physics. And it reflects what is being taught in the University of Belize's associate degree program in pre-medical sciences. And as the president said, a great effort has been put forward, but the university also understands that we're going to suffer a financial hit to do this. But at the end of the day, we are investing in Belizeans.
Yes, yes.
You know, and that's what, when you have the name of the country in the name of your institution, it gives you a certain responsibility to that country.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, as we wrap up this conversation, I want to give you a final opportunity to share some final thoughts with our viewers on what this means for Belize. Of course, if students are interested in watching right now, how they can apply as well.
So I believe your controller showed the
QR code.
A QR code. And so I want to say that if you look at the motto on that logo, it says patient first. So the first thing I want to say to Belize is that we will train empathetic professional doctors who, when they step into a room with a patient, that patient comes first. You are there to serve the needs of the patient. And everything that it takes to be a good doctor, that's what we will put into this program. Yes. And so that is our first responsibility, to ensure that quality and to ensure that the right people are brought along in the right way to be of service to this country. The next thing I'd want to say is I spent many years outside of Belize getting my training, and the opportunity to train in country and get a degree that can go anywhere in the Caribbean, that you can become licensed anywhere in the Caribbean. The movement of professionals, we know that is of discussion now. We will be a part of that. And then the opportunity to go elsewhere to do your specialization, that is another key factor, and that is born of accreditation. We believe that education should open doors and give the person being educated options, and that's what this school will do.
Yes.
Excellent.
Dr. Palacio, Dr. Cummings, I'll give you a final opportunity to share some thoughts with our viewers.
I will yield to Dr. Cummings, and I will just take it home after.
Thank you very much. What does this mean to people of Belize? Having an MBBS program will create opportunities for some of these very graduates to become, because once we started having this MBBS, they need opportunity for a residency program ultimately, which also is a requirement by the accrediting bodies. So you will have in years to come, you'll be significant increase in specialist doctors trained right here. That would be part of the benefits of having this program. So you will have your own specialists in family medicine, obstetrics, and gynecology, pediatricians, and any other areas that are useful for enhancement of the quality of care in Guyana, and just in Guyana here in Belize. I just want also to say, to put this together in terms of the WHO standards of universal health coverage, which is part of the requirement for any country. A medical school always works very closely with the goals of its local Ministry of Health. And the Ministry of Health implements WHO and PAHO standards in this regards to universal health coverage. So what it also means, putting all of that together, that there'll be better quality physicians to provide quality care throughout the country of Belize.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And if I may, yeah, I'll be pretty brief. Just to encourage persons who are interested to feel free to give us a call. Feel free to come and visit. If you have any questions, any doubts, any concerns, feel free to come and take a tour of the medical school, the actual structure. Quite impressive. I was there again yesterday, and the labs are almost 80% complete with the equipment and what is required. Come and see it. The school will be accredited, so that will answer your concerns with accreditation. And hence, it's right here in our backyard, and we're happy to be hosting it at the National University. We look forward to seeing you. Entry requirements would be on the same, the information that was shared, the barcode that was shared earlier. Again, thank you for having us.
All right, and thank you guys also for coming here with us and sharing this information. This really feels like a part of history. So thank you so much for allowing us to share this information with our viewers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into the Belize City Council's Super Sale.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, the labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them, because he knoweth not how to go to the city. Before Jesus went back to heaven, he promised the disciples he was going to prepare a place for them in heaven. But what a tragedy that many people will not go to heaven because they know not the way. Some time ago, the famed evangelist Billy Graham was being honored in Charlotte, North Carolina by his home state. Following his introduction, he said, "I have on a new suit. I bought it to be buried in. He then related that on one occasion Albert Einstein was riding on a train. The conductor came to him to pick up his ticket, but he could not find it. The conductor said, "Oh, I know who you are, Mr. Einstein, don't worry about it." And he left. A little later, the conductor came back to find and to discover Mr. Einstein down on the floor, looking under the seat for the lost ticket. The conductor again said, "Don't worry about it, Mr. Einstein, I know who you are." Mr. Einstein replied, "Yes, I know that, but I have to find my ticket to find out where I am going." Billy Graham said, "I know who I am, and I know where I am going." Faith in Jesus Christ will help you too to know who you are and where you are going when you die. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
My name is Nayeli Yakab. I'm the coordinator of the Benga House of Culture niche. Before the Belize Bank online service, I had to travel to San Ignacio because we don't have a branch, a Belize Bank branch in our community. Now with the service, I can conduct my transactions at the office, at the comfort of my home, just anywhere in the world. It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Get ready for the 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, live from beautiful Placencia, Belize. Join us as Belize hosts this prestigious event, showcasing its rich blend of cultures, pristine natural beauty, and warm hospitality. Tune in to Channel 5 for the opening ceremony on Monday, August 12th at 7 p.m. and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. It'll also stream on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss this exciting opportunity to celebrate excellence in Caribbean broadcasting. The 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards, live on Channel 5.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "The labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them, because he knoweth not how to go to the city." Before Jesus went back to heaven, he promised the disciples he was going to prepare a place for them in heaven. But what a tragedy that many people will not go to heaven because they know not the way. Some time ago, the famed evangelist Billy Graham was being honored in Charlotte, North Carolina by his home state. Following his introduction, he said, "I have on a new suit. I bought it to be buried in." He then related that on one occasion Albert Einstein was riding on a train. The conductor came to him to pick up his ticket, but he could not find it. The conductor said, "Oh, I know who you are, Mr. Einstein, don't worry about it."
It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Get ready for the 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, live from beautiful Placencia, Belize. Join us as Belize hosts this prestigious event, showcasing its rich blend of cultures, pristine natural beauty, and warm hospitality. Tune in to Channel 5 for the opening ceremony on Monday, August 12th at 7 p.m. and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards on Tuesday, August 13th at 7 p.m. It'll also stream on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Don't miss this exciting opportunity to celebrate excellence in Caribbean broadcasting. The 55th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and the 35th Caribbean Media Awards, live on Channel 5.
Welcome back. We're having our final conversation this morning, and as we mentioned, it's all about the Belize City Council's Super Sale. That sounded like an ad. I'm sorry, guys. But it's always a pleasure when we have our friends here from the Belize City Council. I believe this is the first Super Sale of the year. Strange because it doesn't feel like that. But we have here with us Miss Milicia McDougall, and she is the Local Economic Development Manager with the Belize City Council. Also with the Belize City Council is Miss Michelle Smith, and she's the Communications Officer. And with her, they joined Crystal Dugal, and she is the Marketing Coordinator for Angelus Press. Ladies, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having
welcome. For some of you, welcome back.
Yes. Now we live here technically.
Now, the first Super Sale for the year so far, perhaps before we even jump into that, let's get an overview of some of the activities that took place since the start of the year. Because as I mentioned, it really does feel like they are here quite a few times.
Well, you know, the council, we are always doing something, something for the community. And so started this year, we've done the Family Fun Day, which we had at BTL Park, which was a day of fun for the family. Yeah. Yes, we had, of course, we always have our loaded kids zone, and basically at this event everything was free, and you could have participated in different games like sack race, tug and war, and win fabulous prizes. We also had the Mother's Day Collect Night Festival, which was a huge success.
I think that was the last project that you guys came here to talk about, which I also know was a huge success.
That was a huge night festival. And then lately we partnered with Niche, and we had the Ibatong Festival, which was last week. Wednesday, which was
Thursday. Yeah.
August 1st, Emancipation Day.
So now we're jumping into the super sale, which I know is also a big feature of the Belize City Council and something that the residents of Belize City look forward to as well. Let's talk about what this feature provides.
Well, it's the, like you said, super sale, but all our super sale, we give them a theme, and this is the back to school super sale edition. And when you say back to school, you think about, you know, getting your kids ready to return back to the classroom. I mean, summer is almost finished, and we're now approaching that time where we go back to school. So this event is fully loaded. Like I was telling Miss McDougall and Miss Dougal this morning, like I was watching the vendors that signed up for this event, and I'm like, you could enter this event dressed like how I am, and you could get a full makeover.
Really?
Your weave, your eyelashes, your outfit, your footwear, your purse. But beside that, I want to emphasize that this back to school is very anticipated, whereby we have all our major school organization with us. As you can see, we have Angela's Press with us
You
here.
can't go back to school without Angela's
No,
Press.
you cannot. And like I said, of course you have Angela's Press, you have A&R, you have all the uniform outlets like Uniform Stock, Swami's, Pick and Wear, Little Melchor. I don't know if people know about that, but I know growing up, let's go to Little Melchor by Orange Street. Yes. So you could get your bags, your footwear, your uniform. If you don't want to get ready-made uniform, you could go to Mercado and buy the material to get your uniform sewn up, and then you get your school bags, your electric supplies. So this back to school is fully loaded. Returning back to the classroom, there's everything there at this back to school.
I think the timing is perfect as well, just because
yes, it is.
UB actually opens on August 12th, so
Yeah.
I'm not excited, but yeah.
Let's get Crystal in on the conversation. So you're here on behalf of the Angelos Press.
Yeah, I am. So with the Angelos Press, we're always, when it's back to school, that's our peak season, and this is where we find any chance as possible to give back to our customers, you know, getting deals and different stuff like that. So for this Saturday, we do have up to 50% off that we're giving customers, so they can come to our booth, they can, you know, go home with copyright paper, composition books, whatever the case may be, even a printer and stuff like that. So we're just focusing on making sure that, you know, people always look for sale and stuff like that. So giving them that and making them, you know, want to come to our booth and purchase these back to school items.
When we think back to school, I think the first thing that comes to mind, other than uniform, is backpacks, right?
Yes.
School
and
bags.
stationery.
Yes. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, and with that, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we have Samsonite bags and Extreme, which is like a daughter of Samsonite. So we will have those out there as well, and in the store we will have like a promotion, getting a discount as well on those. And we're also having a promotion for this entire back to school season, whereby you get up to 15% off on our Samsonite bags. And they also come with a year warranty. So these bags are very like durable and stylish, you know, from many customers. They're like, okay, they love Samsonite. They can't wait. Yeah, they're long-lasting bags. So we just try to, you know, make everything kind of work out in favor for our customers.
I'll give you a joke, Crystal. I remember when I was in primary school and high school, the backpack logo that everyone wanted was the Jan Sport.
Yeah.
And it was also because it was durable and long lasting. So much so that I'm pretty sure I had the same school bag for the entire 4 years. It would not break. But, you know, another thing that I was thinking of, and perhaps this is because I haven't been to school in so long, people actually have to get type-in sheets and stuff like that to take to school.
That is actually on your book list.
On your list.
That is on your
as
book
well
list.
as cleaning supplies.
Yes,
like, that's
the
why
toilet paper,
in our
all that,
stores, in our stores now you can get cleaning kits as well, because
Okay.
now that's like some school. I remember customer came in there like I have a different list for specifically cleaning supplies or stuff like that, and so we did a bundle that you can get for about $30 in our stores, and you can get basically all the necessities that are
Full
needed.
Redeemer is one of the schools that have that, because I still do Full Redeemer, by the way. So I get my list, I get my 2 lists all the time. But,
I think
it's quite
I remember.
interesting.
I think I remember last year, Ms. Mel, you guys also mentioned that a feature of the super sale would be the collaboration with the lending institutions as well, because that's a big part of back to school is the school fees. Can we expect that this year as well?
Yes. I believe that Courts Ready Cash will be there as well with some loan
deals.
Yeah, loan deals. So yeah, they will actually be right next to us. So it'll it'll be really nice. I believe that other lending institutions are also doing back to school promotions. But for those that are going to be with us, Courts is the only one so far. So yeah.
Well, we do know, as you mentioned, Ms. Michelle, that this is highly anticipated. A lot of people look forward to the super sale, specifically from the City Council, because it's just in time for back to school, and that's where they can get their deals.
And you can get your deals.
Yeah.
For us at the council, we are excited about the growth and the impact of the back to school super sale. And it's a time whereby it's an opportunity for us to communicate with our vendors and our consumers, no? And like you said, this day is a deal day. So you come out and get your, like for instance, Angelo's Press is giving 50% discount on selected item. All the uniform entities are giving up to 20%. The bar is 25% up. So everybody that come out there and purchase, you will get some sort of deal.
Yes.
Like for Cybertronics, they have a bundle deal whereby if you buy a laptop, which will be on sale at that day, you could walk away with a mouse, a laptop backpack, a printer, and you only pay $149 extra. And also everything, it will be 20% discount. So everybody out there will have deals. So we encourage consumers to come out and get their deals and prepare for back to school.
Give us the location, date, and time.
Okay, yes, that's the first thing we should have mentioned. Back to school Super Sale Edition, August 10th. That's this Saturday, downtown Albert Street. We start all the way from the swing bridge and take you all the way down to Prince Street, so that whole area will be closed to vehicular traffic. We welcome walking traffic. Regent Street will also be closed by the Battlefield Park in front of the Supreme Court, because of course, yes, we have deals, but also you have to come out and eat. So we have a fully loaded food court with your regular rice and beans, your pibil, your Mexican tacos, your pupusas, your chips and dip, your stuffed pepper. I can go on and on and on.
You come for the deals, you stay for the food.
Exactly. And
free kids zone.
Yes.
We always have a free kids zone. So parents, no drop off your picnic, just come on and enjoy yourself. Stay and watch your picnic, but there is a free kids.
And not to forget,
I always have to say that, because man,
You probably take
you don't want to do that. No, you don't want to do that.
No, poor Harry. I always have to look out for my cousin Harry.
Taking care of the kids.
Harry takes care of those kids, man. I mean,
So like
hats off to Harry.
Like Miss Mel mentioned, we have our free kids zone. You have your bouncy house, your trampoline, your face painting, and your Ozzy the Clown. But not to forget, you have live entertainment, whereby you will have Super Fura Band, Alex Evan on steel pan, Super G.
The General.
Yes.
In person?
The General will be there.
Wow, okay.
So
Wonderful.
it's a day full of fun, festivity, and not to forget deals.
Yes, yes. Well, ladies, I'll give you a final opportunity to share some last words. I'm not sure if you have any sponsors that you'd like to highlight that makes initiatives like this possible on an annual basis.
Well, for me, I would like to just again just give the mayor and the councillors a really grand hand of applause, just because of the fact that with everything that's happening in our economy right now and prices are going up, people always say, your pocket short, but but the list is long where purchases are concerned. The mayor is always very adamant to make sure that our residents are keen on saving as best as they can. So the super sale is literally created to particularly lend that support to our residents and get all our vendors a part of the sale to actually encourage them to give more than a 10%, more than a 15%. So it's very, very encouraging to see all of our major school suppliers, Swamis, and everybody else just putting in the work, giving the discounts that are necessary for our students to get back to school. Angelos, very impressive, 50% off most of their items. So I'm telling you, this super sale is, it's like a real amazing cost-saving kind of opportunity. So if you don't got money, go borrow. Trust me, yeah, workout phone.
Workout will be there.
Yeah, workout phone. Yes, will it bring the institutions to. So it's an opportunity for us to just bring everybody together at the same time. So the residents can have fun, the kids can have fun, but at the same time save some money. So hats off to the mayor and his council.
Yes.
Well, I want to add, besides getting deals, I really want to thank the vendors for participating in our super sale and all our events. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. But to add, besides getting deals, we also have giveaways, whereby Angela's Press will be giving us 2 Samsonite bags with school supplies. We have gift certificates from the Barry, Uniform Stop. We have DigiWallet cash giveaway. We have 4 100 DigiWallet cash giveaway.
Wow.
We have promo credits from Smart. The list goes on and on and on, but
it really does.
Yes. So while you're out there shopping, you can also win great items now. So come out, be at the super sale, enjoy the day now.
Yes. And Ms. Crystal, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, well, just for our customers to continue giving us this support during this back to school season. We're still in that midst of that season, and we're glad that we're going to give our customers a better deal with these items, to be able to provide for their kids. So we encourage, our customers and everyone to come out and enjoy this event.
All right. Well, ladies, it's always a pleasure, and thank you so much for stopping by. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Great. All right, we are going to wrap up right here. Now, Isani, of course, we want to say thank you to all of our guests who stopped by this morning, but a very special thank you to you guys for tuning in with us. It is August 7th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to ya. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram at OYE Belize. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow as you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.